On the T side, obviously a map that was quite formidable under his Cloud9 reign. Let's see what he brings over to this VP.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out, of course. And remember, I mentioned sAw have only lost one Overpass in 7. Of course, they beat Cloud9 on it in the Spring Showdown, and that was when they had Electronic. So, yeah, there's some revenge out here for sure. For Electronic, I think he'll be ready and raring to go in this one without a doubt. Anyway, T-pistol underway. Lots of utility on the back of Jamie. He has a full belt in this pistol. Electronic has a smoke as well. So 2 players without Kevlar for VP. And we are setting up to take bathrooms and possibly full execute onto the A site here.
This is quick by VP standards. Like already the smoke's being lined up. The utility is about to be just dispensed all over this site, and now Story's got to be screaming in TeamSpeak that he needs help, or maybe he doesn't need it at all. First kill found by the USP, but the bomb site on lock by VP.
Yeah, this is purely for the plant, right? This utility basically guarantees it unless one player goes above and beyond. Story can only get the one, so now this retake has to be sped up. There's no kit in play here for sAw. Flit playing close in the smoke, destroyed by Story as well. And now Norbert is very stuck, having to play up in their faces. And he does really well. He actually only gets 1 from that. It's Jame and Electronic to help out. Jame finds another, and Materis is stuck between Jame and Electronic, and that's not a place you want to be. 4 kills between the 2 of them. VP, great start.
Really well done from Norbert there, because he had to take space beyond the bomb site. You could tell what VP wanted to do. They wanted to get up close and personal with the Glocks against the USPs in towards these tricky angles like Bank and Dumpster. But immediately, as soon as one player takes contact, the entire forces of VP will swing on either side and make it so difficult for these players to effectively fan out over the bomb site. And when you're in that 1-on-2, James taking the contact, you can just wait for Electronic to then just settle in the kill. And that's exactly what happens. And despite having that player advantage, it's VP that come away with the pistol.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of advantage there as well. You can see the players glancing across. We've had that little demonstration, of course, by Sponge and Moses of the smart glass on the main stage as well. Do a quick tech pause, hopefully not too long. See the admin's having a chat right now. Headsets are being switched around. Maybe a small audio issue, something like that. Of course, those tournament headsets are very noise cancelling, as we know. So maybe he just has to take them off purely to hear him. Looks like we're setting back up again. Only a quick tech pause. Materis gives a glance to his teammates. So much experience on this sAw roster. Materis and sAw combination for over 4 years now alongside Roman. But a full eco for sAw in the following, of course. Play for the M4s as quickly as possible. And VP got a MAC-10, 3 kills and a UMP on Flit. I'm seeing a couple of players use the UMP lately. And I'll be honest, Brandon, I have no idea why. I feel like it sucks right now. It's not 2017.
They're trying to be like the cool kids on the block, right? I mean, when's someone going to whip out the Bison? Like that'll be a piece. But yeah, it's becoming a little bit more vogue using the UMP.
Yeah, I remember.
What's good about obviously the setup at Pro League, and you can actually see the players, is you talk about noise cancelling, and it's like, okay, well, you might be able to not hear us, but you can see us getting visibly really hyped up. There's that stack though in towards B. Rosdos does find Norbert, player we definitely highlighted in this head-to-head. That's a rifle recovered, but it should be fine as the pieces are slowly starting to fall into place for VP. 2 casualties is not the end of the world. If it gets a little bit more expensive, then that could be a disaster, but Jame, make sure it isn't so.
Nicely done by Jame. Cleaned up. And yeah, it's as you say, I mean, it's not exactly 2017. It was terrifying how good the UMP was back then. And it was one of those weapons as well, as we see Flit give it some use, that professional players kind of didn't discover, right? Until a few people started using it, then it snowballed, just like when the Krieg and Org came into action. They were in sort of a similar state for the entirety of CSGO until the money... the price of them, of course, got reduced, and then they started getting used, and then the Krieg and Org era began. And it was the same with the UMP back in 2017. But of course, it won't be used this time. As you say, it was some era, that's for sure. Now I go into the first gun round of VP versus sAw in this mid-bracket. Eking the bomb over toward B. Currently 3 there to defend it. But probably won't be going too fast, as we know this is Virtus.pro after all.
I'm excited to see some of these sort of like punchier rounds out of VP, and when that will start to kind of come into their wheelhouse a little bit more. Jame Electronic alluded to that in the most recent interviews that they've done. And we have seen VP with kind of the birth of CS2 get a little bit more energetic in some of these mid rounds. They've got good space in here, especially over towards connector. You see that James just falls back from bathrooms, and that resmoke comes in at a perfect moment for sAw, so they can lock down B a little bit more. And if VP want to go for this, they have to run through utility.
Yeah, that's a good point. That smoke actually was spot on, because they were sort of egging themselves on to push, right? It's going to have to be with a flash and through that smoke. Hujux actually does well to get a 1-for-1 there. Fame trades him very quickly, but 20 seconds on the clock. Haha, classic VP. 4 versus 4. We're still throwing in utility. Flit will deal with Roman on that rotation, and this is probably what VP do. They make you go for these swings so late on, but now there's 6 seconds on the clock, and James is fighting with the bomb out. Has he got it? I think so. It's going to be really close, but Mutuis is here. Plant is down. How are they doing it again, Brandon? Literally 1 second to spare. There was still a player in water. James still gets a kill, strafes round for the plants, and Story is forced away. By the round, by the clock, VP.
It's just exceptional how mind-gamey these end of rounds are. And what I mean by that is the fact that when you've got 6 seconds left and the bomb is only just being committed, you've got a choice to make if you're sAw. Do you want to swing and try and deny it? If you do that, then potentially you're going straight into a setup, which is what happened in the first 2 instances when VP starts to walk into that B bomb site. But if you want to try and play for the retake, you haven't really got the utility because you've dispensed it all trying to keep VP out of the bomb site in the first place. So essentially you're left with these 2 one-on-ones. Story does really well to find these picks as the VP players are flooding in towards this bomb site. That one there on Electronic, and you feel like Rostos has got the best of Fame, and that's the round said and done. But no, Jame goes hunting
5 seconds
and needs to plant that bomb. He was being covered, and by him tucking himself in that corner also prevents the AWP from swinging onto his position. It's so meticulous, and it is so microscopic, the margins that round goes in favor, and they're tilting rounds to lose. If you're sAw, you feel like you're ahead the entire step of the way, only to then lose and have to save an AWP.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, if you're sAw, that sort of thing pisses you off, right? Because, like, how on earth do you get away with that? Jame is fighting water with 6 and then 5 seconds on the clock. It's borderline hilarious that they get away with rounds like this, but he's done it again. I mean, the strafe when he pulled the bomb out was absolutely perfect. In those sort of instances, if you're like holding E to pull out the bomb, that takes time. He pulled out the bomb first, so the animation didn't have to play out, right? So he could get the plant in just the nick of time. Mutuis perhaps could have wallbanged that area and maybe denied it, but it's a hard one to judge when you don't know exactly where he is. Of course, very wallbangable, that area of the corner of the site. So, yeah, it's classic VP. And it might not be the first time we say that in this game. That is a lovely boost on short, though. Materis deals with Flit with the MP9. And getting 5 versus 4s in those sort of circumstances can be precious.
Oh, Roman's just spotted players. I think information's gone both ways. It was quite loud over towards long, so at least the rotations are here, has a chance to deal with Fame, but it was Story's AWP that punishes instead. But here, the rifles just start to swarm instead, and, well, BP, they've taken A, and they've gone B. Norbert's got the space after finding the 1 kill. Over on that side of the map, just dismissing rotations, and Electronic's even on the hunt. There's a Rostos, that's fine, that's not the upper Story who's just waiting in bank. It's a familiar feeling. He was here literally last round.
He manages to deal with Electronic. thought Electronic was going to go around bank for a second, but yeah, Electronic is having a great start to this game, and so are VP, and Story isn't going to be allowed to run away. Norbert chases him down, they give the AWP a glance. Not to see in a few seconds whether they've picked it up or not. Sometimes, of course, VP and other teams are very happy to run a T-side without an AWP. Overpass is slightly more unusual, though, I feel like. T-side AWP can be very impactful, especially up against Story. I'll see whether it was picked up in a moment or two, but here's Electronics round. Easy flank on Arosdos. It looks like it was. So it's in James' hand now. He's yet to die in this game. That sounds like James to me.
Classic James. Saw neither response, and that'll either fall in towards taking B short, such as Jerks is doing. Electronica has got to be careful. Timing favors him, so he'll find the opener. And now sAw will probably be disincentivized to do this with just one player for the rest of the half. They have to look elsewhere, but that's a source of strength in connector. You see them dropping the utility over from short in that position, but that's the Fame presence. No one is home, so VP have got a lot more map control than they initially think.
Yeah. See if they can do something with it, but as you say, don't have the knowledge just yet. 50 seconds. Nade over toward the pillar. But no one there to receive it this time. It's going to have to be one of these sAw players to go above and beyond here. In these sort of circumstances, you have to get a multi-frag in action. There's going to be a flash set up here. Arosdos waiting behind the monster smoke. In they come, but actually they go ahead of the flash. That is mistimed from VP. And Arosdos will take that every day of the week. Suddenly, they're a man ahead in this round. And damage done as well to Arosdos to continue for VP, but it has to be quick now. 18 seconds. Questioning whether a save is being committed to because they're still shifting up connector. Now they're running, but Long is the best position for these sort of circumstances, and Roman plays it perfectly. It's the last place you hard clear. He gets himself two. James is trying his best to plant, but he knows it's not going to happen. He'll get the kill. He'll escape toward Long, but sAw get on the board.
Yeah, definitely missed time there with that flash, and it could be just a theory of the fact that every time they've done that play for VP, I think that's now the second or the third time they've flashed through Monster, the player that's holding close is always on the right-hand side trying to play anti-flash. So you're trying to maybe just second guess by walking a little bit faster, but actually taking a look at that replay, it feels like that is just completely mistimed. And Arosdos would have been full blind, commits to the fight, obviously, because Electronic's gone half a second before it clears. Timeout call for VP, because I can't let these small mistakes just translate and cascade into something far greater. Sure, it's 4-1 right now, but that's what the momentum you want to keep on your T side. Remember, this is CT side overpass, where rotations can come thick and fast. You can consistently just have that edge over your competitor. Very defense-heavy map. So for VP, all they want to do is just stamp out the momentum early. They want to make sure this doesn't come back to bite them. And also the money is in a little bit of a questionable spot.
Mm-hmm. Rounds have been close, as you say. So give sAw a chance to work their way back into the CT side a little bit faster than VP would have wanted, but you have an AK in play, and there's still something to worry about. But Materis lowers that concern considerably. Flit is down. It makes you wonder, in these sort of rounds, how committed is James actually going to be to trying to find picks in this scenario? Pretty sure he'll be focusing on staying alive to the best of his ability in these sort of situations. Still 7-0. He's going to try a pick. A little bit of a boost. Here we go. Very tight angle that, of course. And ooh, spooky for sAw. Not sure if they would have seen that or not, of course, from their POV. Roman front bathroom. That smoke is very helpful for him. And James is looking actually to face that bank angle. And there we go. Story hits his shot. It's only a tag, not a frag. But I think that might make James' mind up in this sort of situation. Mateus could be about to put an end to all of it. Coming up on the connector lurk, that forces Roman forward to help out. He gets 2. They've actually all fallen. Great stuff from sAw. Story finishes it off. It's 4-2.
It's a very good mid-round from sAw. The path in that Muteris takes to walk through connector, it completely just deviates away from the setup that VP are expecting on A. And it means that you can get an extra rotation. The smoke coming in at Monster meant that they could take all the short space and clear the pipe together as 2. If you're the Portuguese side, you can then let Muteris lurk up connector. You have that extra rotation towards A. And notice that Roman doesn't swing on Divider until Muteris takes the first contact. It's well handled, especially in a round like that, which can get a little bit dicey, considering the style that VP like to show. Of course, Story will keep wielding his AWP. James not with one in this. It's bare bones when it comes to the rifle investment, because you've had to have a compromise here for VP between the weaponry and the utility. Fun little jump spot as well from Roman, because as soon as he sees contact, he can fall back.
Yeah, and he does exactly that. Get the run boost in action toward long. Thankfully, no fail on that boost that time. CS2 is a cruel and unpredictable mistress when it comes to those boosts. Valve, please fix. Fame pushing forward. Story and Roman have a nice little setup in Divider here. Of course, that gun barrel does stick out, but the idea is the AWP is taking the shot before that rifle is spotted. And actually, Roman hears Fame throwing the utility and decides to try and take the initiative. And even though that kill comes through, that's going to set up VP for a B play. And Aras Darcy tries to use all of his utility, but unfortunately gets taken down before he can pull his gun out again. Muteris with an important answer back, but now it's a 2 versus 3. Bomb will be planted. Even a molly in water there from Jay, making doubly sure no one's going to stop that plant, covering all his bases. Unless Story finds a pick in the next few seconds, this should be a VP round.
They're not going to peek him either. They know the only threat can really come in from CT and Heaven. That's why James positioned behind the pillar, waiting for audio, waiting for sAw to get up close. And then by that point, you've got a crossfire established with Fame. Really good trade spacing as well on those openers from VP. Just guaranteeing that Fame and Norbert between each other, they'll be able to fight away into that site. Do like the ideas from sAw though, the fact that Roman is that point man over towards long, he then resets and tries to set Story up for success, but it's Fame that finds the opener as he completely dismantles that toilet setup. VP back in cruise control.
Yeah, big round for VP to take. Here's Fame. That's, as I said, that's exactly when Roman tries to activate. He thinks that maybe I can catch him just as he's still pulling out his AK. As that Molotov is being thrown, but it's a split second too late. And that's Counter-Strike. Fractions and split seconds can change rounds. And VP know all about that, as we saw in the first couple of gun rounds, of course. Quick tactical pause for VP. So far, a very solid team performance. And 5 rounds on T-side Overpass is already very solid.
Yeah, doing a really good job, but also limiting the amount of short control that sAw can take. Already being punished was Jerks by Electronic, and since then they've had to double up and invest a lot more resources into that area of the map, which means you'd hope if you're the CT side and you're a Portuguese fan that Story would become a lot more mobile on this CT side. I've already mentioned he's very dynamic and goes for a lot of entries, and we need to start to see him try and accomplish this. Boost up for Muteris is really nice. You can clear deep in towards short and just hold space, and also get info for your AWP to reposition to try and deal with threats. Again, notice the timing of this. As soon as the boost comes over, Story now repositions alongside Roman. They set up again together over, this time at long.
Flip lurking in connector. Just like that, I mean, the round is gone already. Not much damage taken. Mito is still convinced to stay holding on that boost. Flit will jump across. That is just so smart from Flit to actually jump that angle. They have to be aware of that possibility, and he's probably done that 1,000 times. Making sure he doesn't get caught from any player peering over from the B site. Just natural muscle memory. And now 35 seconds. We're once again in that weird territory again for VP, but in that territory where they can win so many of these rounds. Pushing forwards, Story ready with his counter util. Thinking about perhaps blocking that smoke, but has to chuck down the HE and go for a swing, but that's a massive left side peek, and Flit takes it easily. Roman can only get one from long, and that is an absolutely textbook Virtus.pro A overpass take.
Yeah, let's talk about the variations that they threw into that round as well. Notice how they completely neglected even forcing a threat in towards connector, apart from having Fame being there really late on. And then as soon as he jumps, he notices the gunfire. And that guarantees that the setup is boosted, which probably means that Story and Roman did exactly what we were speaking about, which is recoiling back and holding from further. As the timer ticks down and elapses even more significantly, they have to retreat and fall back even further into that bomb site. That creates so much space up long, up toilets. And VP, they take it completely pure contact. And as soon as you see the smoke flying over, you're not ready for how many numbers are in such close proximity to you. So it's expertly done by VP.
Yeah. Even if there was a player in the sight line of Story toward the back dice there, there's the angles. There's it from Flit's POV, right? Like, he can't see Flit. Like, he's in the black of his scope there. He can't see anything. That's just the most frustrating thing. It's the most uncomfortable position to be in if you're an AWPer in that circumstance. You can't peek from the right. You try something different. And yeah, hitting that flick when you peek dice from the left is borderline impossible. And VP just do it by design, right?
It's and speaking of design, it also just flows into entry pathing. It's the fact that you've got two players that are swinging to the left-hand side. You've got the player out divided that can swing wide on the right. Whichever way Story looks with that AWP, you're taking the crosshair sort of 90 degrees to the other side. And that means you're guaranteeing a trade. And even that contact that then comes through over at long. It doesn't matter if the long player falls or gets the trade. The point is the spacing is so good that you are minimizing saw's potential output just to one kill. With the loss bonus, they'll still be able to invest. But this time, Shaw is the main point of concern for VP. This might be a faster one. As everyone is here, basically. The bomb's still yet to make its way over. That'll probably be Fame's responsibility.
Going for a shot rating boost. Well, I think we may have been attempting it, but utility means that a smoke has to be expended. Spam's coming through. It's often rule one of Overpass that whoever has short B control dictates the round. And well, VP have been dictating a lot of this game so far. I'll have to see if they can do the same with this one. Nade over the top, that should be chunky. Talking of chunky, Story's of course got no armor in this round, and that nade's done 79 damage. That is painful. Ujux takes the brunt of it too, and Roman on the A side of the map, James destroys him. And off the back of that, we look toward B. It's a change up from VP. It's keeping sAw guessing, but Arasdos is doing a superb job. He's got himself two. He's actually kept the bomb at bay as well. 30 seconds left in the round. The resmoke will come in. Fame needs to win this duel, and just when Mutuis jumps up on the truck is when Fame swings. That must be so frustrating for Mutuis. And that leaves A open.
It's just creating all these escape plans if you're VP. Even if a Rostos finds that multi-kill there, notice as soon as a Rostos gets the kill, Fame starts speeding up. And he's trying to catch these rotates because they're so fast on Overpass, and because VP have continuously left sAw guessing round after round after round, you can really catch these timings. That's exactly what Fame does. And there's always an outlet. The bomb never commits into that B bomb site. It gets close, but you can always withdraw and have a safe passage up connector, because that's exactly where Fame has just come from.
Yeah, I mean, VP just love playing with that sort of thing, right? I mean, after, of course, what we saw from VP against Fnatic, it was kind of a did have very much like first match with a new player, first match of a tournament vibes, right? It was, it had some incredible moments, but Fnatic took advantage of that beautifully. Played great in their own right. But this VP have started hot today. Aerostos, you can see here, fighting for his life, and actually did really well to get that second. Sure, Norbert had utility out, but the swing was really nice. And yeah, if Mutiris managed just to crouch behind Truck and stay stock solid, if he takes Fame, they were quite disconnected, weren't they? And that could have been a round changer.
I'll tell you what, I stand corrected, because Flit really just committed to that bomb. I didn't realize it was so far invested in Monster, so that could have been a disaster. So fortunately, they had Fame there, because otherwise that could have been completely catastrophic. Double long play. Okay, James, sure. Between him and Fame, they completely dismantled the defense. That's the first time sAw have really progressed much further forward. Good catch from Story, but not ready. Not ready for Flit there.
And that's what VP can do to you, right? After how they've played the opening 9 rounds of this game, we get into round 10, and look at this. I mean, sAw getting completely caught off across the map. Ujux has got his knife out in connector rotating up, and Aerostos is left incredibly stuck. 3 players to face, almost spins on top and takes Norbert, but not to be. It would have to have been incredible with the FAMAS, and VP press W a little bit faster this time toward long, and it completely catches out sAw.
Yeah, and I'll look at the timing of this round as well. The one moment in which sAw have wanted to get the jump on VP and press the issue is the one round that VP start to up the acceleration a bit into this map control. 8 rounds to 2 here. This is, well, just a drubbing right now.
This
doesn't look like the same sAw from yesterday. I tell you what, though, this doesn't look like the same VP from yesterday.
VP are large and in charge right now. Loving life. This is James Joie de Vivre, like playing with joy. I believe that is one of the quotes for, and playing with exuberance. And this sort of style is what he loves, without a doubt. And right now it's exposing sAw considerably. CT Overpass, usually we see a lot more successes than this. Of course, if there are any sAw fans out there in chat currently watching, I'm sure there are many of you. Portugal has a big fan base for this roster. Don't be too disheartened. Second map is one that VP have really struggled on lately, so with whatever roster, it should be said. So sAw are not out of this series, even if they lose map 1, without a doubt. Anyway, round 11.
Timing here on towards short. Just kidding, because of course VP are holding with 3 players. This was actually such a good setup from sAw. The timing of this mid-round aggression was very clever, and it gets shut down by one man only. Flit just wrecking and bulldozing his way through the bomb site. Norbert just adds salt in the wounds with a headshot through the smoke, and now your only comfort, your only saving grace in the next round potentially is Roman on an MP9.
Yeah, incredible. Roman manages to find one, but he's just going to be desperately trying to save the AK, and I'm not sure if that's possible for him. He's being hunted considerably. We mentioned Flit, of course, questioning whether perhaps we're in a situation with Electronic added. Does it take away from his numbers slightly? Does it change the roles slightly? Because Flit has been one of the best players in CS2 thus far. Been a joy to watch how he's performed, even if VP aren't necessarily winning events. Another huge triple for him. Roman. Oh, it's the last tick of the round. And look, they're giggling. They're smiling. Well, at least they were for a split second. Usually VP are straight-faced, aren't they? And once again, sAw are left with nothing.
Man, it's the right idea to go for a play like that, even with low time, because you're guaranteeing either you know they're there and you can draw rotations back, you get the jump on this execute, or if it's empty, you can then send your rotates towards A. So it's the right idea. It's just the fact that VP have got 3 players just locking in that position. Roman wants this fight on connector, and to be fair, by and large, when it has been the one-on-ones in connector, sAw have been coming out on top.
Roman in the cubby. Flit. Of course he hard clears it. Of course he hard clears it. Poor Roman. Has nothing to do with that. Bomb was edging toward Monster, but it's backed away now, and we are going back toward A. 3 MP9s. One has been netted down to 55, and a story FAMAS to try and save 3 on the half. That's a good start from you, Jerks, but look at this. We're creeping the bomb up toward A. 2 players already taking it quickly. Nade will be thrown. Electronic about to swing. There is an MP9 on long to worry about, but he almost switches around and gets both. The health is low on Materius, should be traded by Fame. It most certainly is. Norbert is in a disgusting lurk position in Connector. Ujerx is found, and Arasdos is left with 48 health, an Incendiary, and an MP9. And it looks like VP are going to lock in double digits on the T half of Overpass. Arasdos will try his best, but he leaps into Fame, and what a half that is from VP. 11-2 James at the end of that one. We'll see if they can convert it in a few minutes.
Cause I'm feeling too much confidence on that heavyweight flex. I've been earning and working, everybody want this. I'm untouchable, stacked up Greek god. I got that thunder and lightning energy rush. I've been winning and winning since the day I was made. Bet you wanna be like me. I'm always on top of the game. Ain't never gonna touch second place. Nah, never. I'm always on top of the game. You know that I win, that I win, that I win, that I win. I was born to be bad, so go 100%. Cause all I do is win, and win, and win, and win. You already know. I got the world in my hands. I'm like a perfect. Dr. Canadian to make it through.
Jame, 11 kills, 2 deaths. VP, 10 rounds to 2 up. Brandon, it's looking comfortable.
This is the VP I wanted to see and kind of expected to see day one. I mean, sure, first game nerves, first game jitters, and all of that shebang, but ultimately we're getting some quality, and I dare I say it, vintage VP. sAw are no slouches on this map, and VP have honestly schooled them in that first half. Something's got to give, something's got to change. It's similar feeling with a lot of utility on Roman, but sAw need to win this pistol, otherwise we're already looking ahead to map 2.
Yes, sir. And makes you wonder, maybe some conversations happen about map 2 already, because that is where I do feel like they have a great way of fighting their way back into this series. But everyone's very blind here. Fame, Electronic, that's the first 2 kills. Arosdos tries his best to deal with the trade and take Flit as well. He knows there's one more player here, but there's going to be a smoke push coming through, and Roman is caught in the open. Well, VP continue the train and go up 11-2.
It's just simple, and that round is just because of the sheer numbers that have been just sort of communicated over. The rotates are very quick. It's what we were highlighting all in that first half, and Electronic is just taking scalps. There's the Electronic we wanted, and there's the Electronic we're getting out of him. A star performance, but it's not just him, it's everyone, to be honest. Look at how closely these kills are in tandem with each other all across the scoreboard. Same could be argued, to be fair, with sAw. It's just that VP have been putting a little extra polish on a number of these rounds, and sAw have always been kind of voided of a lot of information. They get to set the pace, but they're already making that decision that they're playing for overtime.
Yeah, that's horrible, isn't it? Going to be 10 rounds behind. And on T-side Overpass as well, probably the hardest, slowest grind of a T-side in the game. Well, I mean, this would be one of, if not the comebacks of the entire Pro League. And obviously we haven't even finished it yet. So if they can somehow find a way back. Maybe VP know something about the UMPs that we don't. We've got 2 this time on the CT side. Glocks will be trying to pepper their way forward, but unless something crazy happens, only a VP farm. Electronic finds 1, Jane finds a couple, Bake that 3, gets Dink down to 17 HP, but he's up to 14 kills now. And VP, their stats are above and beyond probably their wildest dreams. I bet they thought that first half would have been a lot tighter, but they've been loving life.
Yeah, not a whole lot we can really say about this T side so far, apart from our speculation, because obviously this needs to be a success story for sAw. This needs to be them coming out the blocks swinging. I'll be excited to see what they can try and accomplish here. Obviously got all the AKs out in play. Jerk's trying to lead the charge. He's been silenced here on this first map. He's not a player you want to see under the cosh. Nice find. Good opener from Arosdos. It puts a little bit more pressure over towards Monster. Jane will start to recoil back, and sAw take the space in mid.
Rotations are interesting.
They're ahead of it.
And then they come. Jane, can he waste the clock for his teammates? Ujerks will find the opening and the second. That's nice from Ujerks. That's the sort of entry work you want to see from him. What makes sAw so scary? Electronic will find Arosdos, so that gives them a conversation, but that's a lovely hold from Story. Puts Flit now in a clutch. Stuck in bank. He's got money to work with in that place of the map, but not in his actual bank account. Only 350. He'll probably try and slink away.
Yeah, try and answer the phone and strike a deal. Noel Edmonds, please.
Deal or no deal, there you go.
That's a very niche British reference.
It is. What a show that was, man. Good God. I remember watching that when I was young. I was like, what is this weird ass game show where they just open boxes? And I grew up and I realized, oh, that is literally all they do. Ah, funny.
Good round from sAw though. Like what I like the most about that is the fact that that 1 kill from Arosdos in Monster, they know that off the back of that, there's going to be just a trickle-down effect over the entire setup of VP. And it's kind of what I was alluding to on VP CT side, towards sort of about the minute mark, they play incredibly passive. You see them recoil quite a lot, and they give a lot of control over to the T side, and there'll be space in towards Divider, in towards Toilets that sAw will look to exploit, very much like they did in that round prior.
And VP have kind of exploited all of sAw's weaknesses, it feels like, in this game so far. Gotta remind you, of course, we can't be too down on them because the second map could be very interesting. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, of course, VP is Vertigo. sAw have picked it, and VP have lost their last 5 Vertigos. So if you're a sAw fan, don't panic just yet. We could still have a 3-mapper on our hands. We could find ourselves on another Inferno. We shall see. That is for the future. This is for the now. sAw just need to find a way to warm up into this fight, right? It may sort of be or feel like a lost cause in these sort of instances, but it's important. Play your own game, warm up into a series, start feeling it a bit. It can translate into the map following.
It's the old cliche of round by round, and this one's a nice one for sAw to get over the line. It's pretty much just a threatening middle piece with Flit with the M4, but he's in connector, so could get involved quite early on towards Roman. If Roman's not careful, this timing is exceptional for Flit. They're aware of it. He goes back in to fight. We'll go 1-for-1 at the bare minimum. So they stick to their game plan. They still want to fight in towards A, but there's a lot of pistols here, and if they get a little bit out of control, that's where things could start to pose a problem. Roman now walking up towards Divider will deal with Electronic, but there's another threat in connector, and Norbert can recover a rifle.
Oh, another P250 headshot's been hit. Fame takes one more. Oh, Norbert's picked up the M4. It's absolutely collapsed to the pistols, and VP, well, if there was one way to close it out to show how dominant they've been on Overpass, it's like that. Incredibly impressive.